you cannot actually be considered for disability until it has been 3 months post-stroke. So his stroke was December 25th. March 25th, we could actually get all the information in and apply. So I had everything completed. So then also just took the ball with that. They got everything submitted. They had said it could be 6 months. It could be, 9 months, whatever. Mark was approved in 3 months.
Oh, wow.
I know. It was total record time. Welcome to Aging in Style, the podcast dedicated to celebrating aging and what it takes to do it well. I'm Lori Williams. I'm a certified senior advisor and senior housing expert. In each episode, you'll learn stories of older adults who are thriving in their 70s, 80s, 90s, and in some cases in their hundreds. Whether you're an older adult or the child of an older adult, this podcast is filled with insightful resources, organizations that are doing incredible work, and stories that will inspire you to volunteer, learn, and who knows, maybe even skydive in your golden years. Hi, and welcome to Aging in Style. We are back doing Ask Lori with Anna Xavier, my incredible producer. I call her all kinds of great names, so I'm usually fabulous or amazing, but today I'm using incredible. So welcome, Anna.
Hi, Lori. Thanks for the invitation. Thank you for letting me be the voice of the public, sharing the questions, only following from your amazing footsteps. So let's go. I feel like we have a really awesome episode today. So let's talk about Social Security disability. So I saw one of your posts and I was like, I don't know much about this. And you were like, wait, I have a lot of things to talk about this. And not only share my experience, but also actually how I got Social Security disability for Mark, your husband, who had a series of strokes earlier in the year, and you got it in record time. And I was like, let's go. Let's talk about this.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about it because it is a very important topic. So this would be for anyone who was under 65 and becomes disabled. So once you're 65, you're on, you're receiving your Social Security. But in our case, my husband was 62 at the time that he had 4 strokes. So everyone started talking to me about, you need to see about getting Social Security disability for him. And what I was hearing from most people I talked to were these horror stories of how it took them 2 years to even get it, or they were rejected after 2 years and had to start all over again. And so I remember one evening, maybe a month after all this had happened with Mark, I sat in my kitchen and thought, okay, let me see about going and, starting to apply. And so I started filling out the information and I was like, gosh, this is a lot and it's confusing and I don't want to make a mistake. And so when Mark was moved to rehab, I had a meeting with his case manager and she said, given his age, you really need to look into getting him Social Security disability. And here is a company that we recommend to people because they can do it so quickly. And the company is allsup.com. So it's ALLSUP, and their website is allsup.com. And I contacted them. I don't think I ever talked to I may have talked to someone one time, but it was all online. So they sent me, where to fill everything out. And it was intense. It was a lot of information I had to fill out and, got that sent in and then had more information they needed. For example, I had to fill out information and this is hard enough to answer on your own, but for your spouse, almost impossible. So they needed to know every job he had had. And I want to say it was 20 years back, maybe. It was
wow.
a long time. Luckily, I remembered I had his resume on my laptop because this was a good thing. So I printed out his resume. So I had it and that way I could go back and write all of his titles and where he worked and the dates and all of that information. And then they wanted to know, percentage of time you stooped, kneeled, stood, sat. I'm like, I don't, crawled was one of them. I'm like, I don't think he ever crawled at work. So I'm going to say 0. But it was just crazy, all the questions. I mean, like I said, it would have been hard to even answer for myself. And here I'm trying to answer for him. So completed all that, got it submitted. And then I had a call from Social Security. And I'm going to say they freaked me out because I got a letter. Let's see how that worked. I got a letter in the mail on a Saturday, and it said if they didn't have some document or some information by Monday, then basically we'd have to start all over again. So I'm panicking and I'm calling Social Security leave because the guy had left his number, and of course he's not working, and I'm like freaking out. I just got this letter. It's Saturday. I'm supposed to have this information to you by Monday, and if you don't receive it, then everything's ending. And I'm like literally freaking out. And so I think the guy he obviously got the message, and I think he was like, okay, this lady is like about to lose it. So he called me and he's like, it's okay. It's okay. It was just like a form letter. And I agree. It was very strongly worded because I kept saying that it's so strongly worded. And he's like, it is strongly worded. It's okay. So basically I was able to get that last piece in. So the way it works though with Social Security, at least when it comes to a stroke, you cannot actually be considered for disability until it has been 3 months post-stroke. So his stroke was December 25th. March 25th, we could actually get all the information in and apply. So I had everything completed. So then also just took the ball with that. They got everything submitted. They had said it could be 6 months. It could be, 9 months, whatever. Mark was approved in 3 months.
Oh, wow.
I know. It was total like record time. So that was March. June, we got the letter that he'd been approved. And then we would start receiving his disability in July. And we did. And you just give them your banking information and they automatically deposit it. You do need to withhold for taxes. But I just, I've been telling everyone, if you're trying to get disability, don't try to do it on your own. I did have to pay a little something to them. Normally, it's 1 month of disability, but mine was less because they were able to do it in such record time. So it was just a percentage, which was nice. But I mean, totally worth it because I know people who've hired attorneys, and that's obviously one way to go, but I'm sure it was a lot more expensive than what I did with ALSUP. So again, if you're trying to get disability, don't try and do it on your own.
Yes. And I think that something that you mentioned earlier is super important to remind the listener because you said it was a referral from the place Mark was at. It was not a Google search. It was not like a random stranger on the internet because you mentioned it before in other episodes where sometimes it's like some organizations are scams and websites are looking so professional these days and they're like scams. So people have to be really careful about that. So I'm glad that you mentioned that allsup.com is a place to go because people don't want to be spending money or just overpaying for something they don't need to overpay for, right?
Exactly. And honestly, I didn't even think, because I was like, what would I even Google? I didn't even think to look on the internet for some kind of help. I didn't even know this existed. And so I had no clue to even try to look for something. So I really appreciate, that was like probably the best piece of advice that I got from any of the case managers. And she told me, in our very first discussion, get started with this. And she was so right. And I really appreciate that.
Wow. Do you think that you having all of the information or maybe knowing that, okay, he won't qualify for another 2 months or whatever, it made it a little less stressful? Or did you feel like there was so much to do that you still feel like, oh, there's a lot to take care of?
I had so much to do, but it felt good that I had everything filled out and ready to go. And I knew that I didn't expect for him to be approved that quickly. Honestly, that was a shock. And you get a letter in the mail that says it's from Social Security and you open it. Of course, I'm opening it up thinking, oh, this is going to be, they need more information. It's going to be something not good. But I open it up and it's like, you're approved. And I'm pretty sure I was dancing in front of my house and screaming. So
that is amazing.
Because it's such a help to get that money. Everyone's got a different need. For us, it was to help hire caregivers and to help pay a lot of these hospital bills and doctor bills that are constantly flowing in. But it's big to get that money, and not to mention he worked all these years and paid into it. So that money he earned it.
Fair enough. And so the type of help, is this for the rest of his life now, or is there a period?
That's a good question. I really don't know, honestly, but it's possible when he turns 65, maybe it just goes to Social Security, I guess. I don't know if he stays Social Security disability, but the disability pays like almost as much as his disability would had he gotten it at age 70. And, you can contact Social Security and they will send you. And the funny thing is, Mark had done this a few months before his stroke, so I knew how much he was going to get and it's like an estimate, but it was pretty darn close. It was almost right on the money, but it'll show you, like, if you take your retirement at 65, how much you'll get. If you're disabled, how much you get, or if you take it at 67 or 70. I can't remember exactly how his was. It was something like that. But it showed you, like, the longer you wait, the more money you receive. Well, disability was right up there with had you waited till you were 70.
Okay. Well, thank you, Lori, for that. That was super helpful. I know that a lot of people will take that information and either contact ALSUP or start getting the paperwork ready for the future. Yeah. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you for asking that question. I think that's a really good one to share with people. And again, this is for disability. So this is going to be people who are under 65. But unfortunately, there are a lot of people who have been disabled by strokes, by accidents, by dementia, by other things. So this is a great resource that I haven't seen anyone put out there. And I'm so thankful that Mark's case manager did share that with me. So remember, alsup.com. And if you have any questions, of course, reach out to me. And as always, thank you, Anna, for being on and asking the questions that everyone needs the answers to.
My pleasure. Thank you for sharing your wisdom.
Of course. All right. We will see y'all next week. Thanks for listening. And please, as always, share this with your friends and family. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.